I set up this user-friendly filter in Excel in just 5 minutes. If you have a large data set that's difficult to manage, you may want to copy and paste some of the data onto another sheet. But the most dynamic method is to use the filter function. This setup is especially useful if you have a boss or a colleague that just doesn't understand Excel's built-in filter buttons. But also, bringing the filter criteria out to the forefront can make it easier for everyone to see how the data is being filtered. It's easy to see and also easy to change, so it adds a little bit more user-friendliness to your spreadsheet. Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I teach Excel users how to create spreadsheets they can be proud of. If you use Excel in any capacity, you're in the right place. No matter what kind of spreadsheet you have, I'm sure it could use a little updating. That's why I created the Spreadsheet Tune-Up, a free training just for you. In 5 short videos, I'll teach you the first steps to optimize any spreadsheet. This is the source data that we're working with. It is very large, but there aren't that many columns. And the first step is always to create an Excel table whenever you have data that's organized in columns and rows. So with anywhere on the table selected, you go to Insert and then click Table. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Control-T, and hopefully your data already has headers, but then you can just click OK. And I'm going to change the style just so it's easier to see. And here's our source data. The next thing you always want to do is name this data. I'm going to name it MO Schools because it's Missouri Schools. That's really important because we're going to be using that name in our formula. Now here's the other sheet that I have set up. This is similar to my magic search bar video where we're setting up a kind of a lookup station. So here I have all of the same headers as are in the original table. And then I have these criteria. These are kind of like questions. This is what we're bringing to the forefront by setting this up using a function and not just using these built-in filter buttons. As you can see, you could go in here and what we're going to be sorting by is charter, yes or no. And then the enrollment totals, I'm going to be using a like a range, so we'll have between certain values. So you could do that here by saying like greater than, let's say 1,000, and that allows you to do that filter. But here we're going to set it up so that all of that information is in the forefront and it's also easy to see, easy to change. So let's build this step by step. Starting with the very first column and the first row in your results range is what we're going to call this. Type in equals and then filter. Filter is one of my favorite functions. It's an array function. So with one formula, it's going to return all of these columns and any applicable rows. What we're looking for, the first argument is array. That's what is the source data. And remember, we called it Missouri Schools. And so you just put the name of your table as the first argument. Then include, this is where we're going to put any criteria that we want to filter by. So we're going to include any values where the enrollment total. So what right here I'm using structured references. So I'm calling the enrollment total column from that source table by using these square brackets. So if the enrollment total, and I'm using the greater than symbol, is greater than this enrollment cutoff cell. And now I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut F4 to make this an absolute reference and close parentheses. So now we can read this as filter the Missouri Schools table, but only keep records where the enrollment total is greater than this enrollment cutoff cell. So right now it is returning absolutely everything because there's nothing in this enrollment cutoff. But I'm going to put a very high number in there. So now we can see it's only returning the ones that are higher than 2,000. So let's put in 1,000. You can see this is totally customizable. And it's a lot easier to change than using the filter buttons was. So now let's say we wanted to also include this criteria, charter. yes or no. You can see the column here is charter. It's just a yes or a no. So let's modify the formula. Let's modify it up here. And I'm going to use Alt-Enter to go to another line just so we can clearly see what's happening. So we're going to be adding another condition to this function. So we have to put our first condition into parentheses and then use an asterisk, which is an AND operator. So we're telling the function that we want to add another condition and that it should be, it should return rows where both of these conditions are true. So then I just made another set of parentheses and then closed out the filter function. Now I'm going to fill this second condition. We're going to be doing where the MO schools, open up those brackets so we can see all the columns. Charter is equal to this value. And again, I'm going to use F4 to make this an absolute reference. Ta-da! And it worked. Now let's change this to no. And you can see it's only returning the values where both of those conditions are met. You're basically done. You could stop here, but because my channel is Excel Power Up, I always try to add things that will enhance the efficiency and the user friendliness of any spreadsheet. So here's a couple of ways that I would do that. One thing is I would actually change these cells to be named. So all you have to do is click on this cell, C2, and then I'm going to give it the name enrollment cutoff. And now in this formula, instead of using this absolute reference, I'm going to actually just replace it with enrollment cutoff. That just makes this formula so much more readable. And now I'll do the same thing with this charter cell, and I'm just going to call it charter and click enter. And now this cell has a name, and I can replace this absolute reference with charter. Great. That just enhances the readability of this function. The next power up that I want to do is to lock down these cells with data validation so that to make it easier for someone to enter values and to prevent mistakes with this formula. That's the worst thing, when you give someone a spreadsheet and then they return it and say, hey, there was a calculation error, and you're like, you didn't use it right, basically. So we're going to start with this enrollment cutoff. That is a number, so we want to restrict the values that only numbers can be entered here. So we're going to go to the data tab and come over to data validation. You may know that this is how we would create a drop-down menu, but you can also use it to restrict what can be entered into a cell. So I'm going to choose whole number, and I'm going to say greater than or equal to 0 because I don't want negative values. That would really mess up the function. Okay, so now let's say a 0. If you don't put anything there, it's the same as if it was 0, so it will return everything. Let's say I try to put words in there, I will get a pop-up. And you can see what that does to the formula, which is it just messes it up. But at least it tells the user that's why. And it will keep erroring until you put a number in there. Now for the charter cell, we're going to do the same thing with data validation, but this time we're actually going to put a list. So this will create a drop down. We're just going to put yes and no separated by a comma and click OK. And now it creates a drop down menu, which makes it really nice and so easy for the user, whoever that is, to change these filters. And then let's say if we wanted to type something else in, again, it doesn't work, but we get an error and it gives us a chance to retry. There we go. The next power up is to think about what happens if any of these criteria are blank. So we've already seen what happens with enrollment cutoff. Because it's a numeric operation, it's checking for any values that are greater than the cutoff. It just defaults to 0 and it just returns every single row. But what happens if this charter column is blank? It just has an error, and that's because nothing is selected. So there are no rows that will match the charter value because it's blank. So what we want to do is consider that for the user so that they are not getting any of these errors. So if they remove this, it's as if they are removing the filter from the charter button. So what we want is that we want it to return all values. Okay, so the way that we're going to do this is to modify this part of the function. Right now, this is filtering the Missouri schools table, and it's returning values where the enrollment total is greater than the enrollment cutoff, and that's this asterisk, the charter column is equal to this charter cell. But what happens if the charter cell is blank? Well, so we're going to add another condition to this part of it. You can't just add another and. It has to be or. So we have to tell it if the Missouri charter column is equal to the charter cell or the charter cell is blank, because that would allow it to return all of the values. So the or operator is plus. So I'm going to add another line here so that we can see it clearer what exactly is happening. Okay, so there's the first condition, and then here is the entirety of the second condition. And there's two like sub conditions in here. Here or this second thing in parentheses. So we're going to need one more parentheses at the end to close out the filter. And now in here, what we're going to put is basically if the charter cell is blank, there's a function for that called isBlank. So we'll open and close parentheses there and type in charter. Okay, so now get all the Missouri schools if, as long as the enrollment total is greater than the enrollment cutoff and the charter column is equal to the charter cell or the charter is blank. Okay, now we should be able to let this be blank and it will just return everything. It returns all the no's and all the yeses. Now these two criteria work together, but they also work independently, so that we should see no's and yeses. Oh, I think I went too high. There's no large charter schools. Let's just go 500. Yes. So now we can see we have both yeses and no's. This is one of the hallmarks of a great spreadsheet, a very well-built spreadsheet, that you consider what the user might do, how the user might use the spreadsheet in a way that you didn't intend. Like you put this drop down here, you expect them to just choose one of these values, but if they leave it blank, what's going to happen? Consider the user and build your spreadsheet with them in mind. Now, the very last power up is to add grid lines to this table just to make it look a little neater. And we want these grid lines to be dynamic so that when the number of rows suddenly changes, the number or the grid lines will also change with it. So starting with no criteria included, that means all of the values are going to be copied from the source table. We're going to use Control A to select the entire table and then come up to the Home tab and go to Conditional Formatting. And we're going to add a new rule. Then come down here to Format only cells that contain, and then in the Edit the Rule description, in this very first drop down, choose no blanks. Then we're going to add the format. Here's this button for what format are we going to add based on that condition. Well, like I said, we want borders, we want grid lines. So I'm going to click on this outline so that it will outline each cell, and then click OK. You can see a preview of just the outline. And click OK. And now you can see the grid lines have been added, and I'm going to change the size, and you can see there's no grid lines down here. There are grid lines here because they are totally dynamic. Take note, the filter function is only available for Excel 2019 and later. Let me know in the comments how you plan to set up an advanced user-friendly filter in your spreadsheet. I'd also love to hear any questions you have.